All right, let's talk about these Darkstar boards from Walmart. I've seen a little bit about them, but I haven't seen one in any store, and I just happened to find one, and there was one on the shelf, so I said, hey, I'm going to get it. I'm going to see what it is, how it feels for myself, and just looking at it, it is worlds better than these Tony Hawk boards. Alright. So, I believe these are manufactured and distributed by Bravo Sports and not Dwindle. I'm not sure if they're pressed in the same, but it is definitely a lower quality wood. Dwindle is still pressing Darkstar, so there is still a Pro Series line of these of Darkstar boards. And I think what they're doing, they're just licensing out their name the same way that Tony Hawk is just licensing his name so that somebody can slap it on a board and they're selling it at Walmart with these really low prices. And usually I would say try, if you can afford it, to stay out of the Walmart boards. Try to get something a little bit better. You know, get what you can afford. Because these boards with the plastic trucks, there's really no concave. You can just feel that the wood, all this is not up to par. This, I would say, would be good for somebody who's like 5 and under, just to have something to kick around. But I'm actually really impressed with these boards from Walmart. This board was $34, some change, so some tax, so it's about $35. And all in all, it's pretty decent. There is definitely a difference between this and a Pro Line setup. You can hear in the pop that it's different. It sounds a little soggy, but I have heard worse. For a Walmart board, it does roll fairly well. I was very surprised by that because usually you almost have to fight it to get it to roll. There are metal trucks, so that is always a plus. The grip tape is actually pretty decent. Figuring out how to skate this, because I wanted to see how tough it was for myself, was a little difficult because, so here is this, it is a 775 by 31, and then here's what I skate for comparison. It is an 85 by 32, I think, somewhere in there, 31 and something, but just the width difference is the biggest part. So it was a little bit of a learning curve trying to get it figured out. So I did have difficulties at first, but I don't think it was really as much the board as it was I'm not used to skating something so small. But once I did get it figured out, I was able to land a few tricks, get a few tricks going, and I was able to do a few grinds. So these trucks do grind, or at least they do grind on skate park coping. And after I landed a 5.0, and then I heard it crack, but I don't see a crack, so it's probably in between the plies. And I decided to quit skating it because I think I'm going to try to give this to my nephew. All in all, I think these are a great board, especially for if you're around 10 to 12, might be pushing it and below. They're definitely not made for heavier people. I was constantly getting wheel bite, and I'm already very bad about getting wheel bite, so I was constantly tightening the trucks to try to get them where I could control it a little bit better. But I would recommend this to someone starting out. Maybe if you're the parents out there and you don't know if your 10-year-old is going to really stick with it, you don't want to spend, $100. I believe this is a good board to start with. It is decent. Definitely better than this line of Tony Hawk boards. All right. That being said, some of the cons. This may end up being where it cracked. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little bit of a delamination right here after the top two plies. Just a little bit of skating, and it's chipping up pretty good. Didn't skate it too much or too hard. So I don't believe it will last very long, even in the hands of a beginner. It'll definitely get them pushing and rolling around, but whenever they start doing tricks, even in the hands of a beginner, I think that it is going to get wore out pretty quick. Even before skating, there were these little pinholes and chips missing, and there was some gouging over here under the grip tape on the tail. But the wheels are really soft, and other than that, I don't think that it was too bad, honestly. So let's pop in. Let's do a little measurement. So this is supposed to be a 775 by 31 inch board. All right, so we've got 7 and 5/8. So not quite 7 and 5 in the back, and 7, and that's pretty much on 775 in the nose. So there is a slight taper, not too much. Let's do the length, and that is right on 31. And this is what kind of got me, is for such a small board, we're looking at just a 16th over 14 and a half. So that's a pretty long wheelbase for such a narrow and short board. Let's see. There are 2 fingers of flat on the tail and about 2.5 fingers on the nose. The tail is 5 7/8. And the nose is 6.5. So there are actual dimensions to this board. There is a clear nose and a clear tail to this, unlike the other Tony Hawk line where it is just pretty much flat, book matching both sides. There's no concave. This actually has a pretty decent amount of concave, so it feels a little bit better standing on it and doing flip tricks. Let's see if I can show that. Use this tape measure as a straight edge, maybe. Don't know how well that's going to show it. There is concave. It does feel good. All in all, if you're already in your teens, might as well go and get a step up. Go to a skate shop and get their completes that has a pro name to it. If you're around 11 years old or younger and smaller, this might be a good board to start with. You're probably going to end up replacing all the components on your next board if you stick with it. But for $35, I don't think you can complain. I'm actually very impressed by it. Thanks for watching the review, and we'll see you next time.